What up, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. I'm J-Dub, and this is J-Dub's Cars and Stuff. So, wow, this is going to be my 100th video on the channel. That's pretty cool. Once again, I try to bring you guys videos when I think of them, and this is kind of a rant video in the fact that, I just wanted to talk about something because I get in this conversation a lot with other people, and I want to make a video on it. Basically, this is why new cars are boring. So basically, guys, I'm a car enthusiast, and I enjoy cars. I think they're a lot of fun. There's just something really cool about cars. Some guys just can't explain it. You just enjoy, fast cars, and I'm pretty much anything with an engine and a set of wheels. Motorcycles, boats, quads. Like, I love all that stuff. Even a couple of videos, lawnmowers, which might be pushing it, but basically cars in general of today are really boring. And what I mean by that is there's certain regards that new cars are actually really cool. If you look back in like the 80s and the 90s, like super nice wheels, those were always bought like aftermarket, but like newer cars are coming stock with usually pretty nice wheels. Not always, but that's one train that they were able to pick up on, that you don't necessarily have to change out to a set of aftermarket wheels in order for them to look good. The factory wheels look pretty good at this stage. But what I mean by that is, like, while new cars are getting faster than cars of yesteryear, you don't necessarily have to have a car be super fast for it to be fun. My Neon over here, while may not be a super fast car, because it's not in any regard, it's still quite a bit of fun to drive. I mean, on a country road that's really curvy, you can have a lot of fun with that Neon, especially with it being a 5-speed manual. Newer cars, it's all about getting the performance numbers and all this stuff. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because everybody wants more power, more speed, everything else. But it's like, so what? What are you sacrificing in order to get that? Cars are so computer controlled now that the driver has very little input that is going to change the outcome of what the car will or will not do. Prime example of this, and I know it's probably been beaten to death, but like automatics and manual transmission. I am a manual transmission guy. I despise automatics. Now, having said that, the automatics of today are way more advanced and way better than the automatics of yesteryear. Just these are not the old school 3-4 speed slush boxes that used to be out there. But at the same time, they're really boring. Like, yeah, okay, they're super efficient and they're super fast, but what's the point? Guys with like Hellcats and Shelby Cobras and everything, they'll just sit around, dick first on a leash, how awesome and fast their car is, which is really cool, don't get me wrong, but it's like, yeah, dude, but your car requires very little skill set on the driver's part in order to maximize that performance. So you can have a guy with the exact same car as yours, stock for stock, and basically your 90-year-old grandmother could get in and drive a straight line. I mean, that's where's the fun in that? With a manual transmission, it requires a set of skills to actually drive. And it's more fun because I actually feel like you're connected to the car. And before anybody says anything, paddle shifters do not count as a manual. Stop making that argument. It's stupid. It makes no sense. It is still 100% controlled by the computer. Yeah, it might let you be able to hold a rev longer, but the computer is not going to let you go over into red line or anything else. It's just, paddle shifters are not cool. They've never been cool. They're never going to be cool, okay? Yes, there are those guys out there who flat out can't drive a manual transmission that'll say, well, the paddle shifters, it's like a manual. No, it's not. It's absolutely 100% nothing like a manual. My wife's Durango GT has paddle shifters. I don't use them. You want to know why? Because it's an automatic. It's just stupid. Moving on. So, basically now, like, a lot of the newer cars are starting to look better, but like in certain forms I agree with that, in other forms I don't agree with that. Cars have been getting more and more aggressive since like the 2000s. Like, just every vehicle has to be like angry and everything. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Dodge is notorious for this, and I like the way the Chrysler's products look. But at the same time, like, not every vehicle, like a minivan, has no business with like super aggressive styling. It's a minivan. If you're buying a minivan, it's not because you're buying it because like, oh man, that looks super mean. That's not why you're buying a minivan. You're buying a minivan because it's convenient, because you need it, because it's what your family requires or what you require. You're not buying it because you're trying to make like a statement, like, oh yeah, this is like a cool car. Like, it is what it is. It's a minivan. It's going to serve its purpose for what it was designed to do, but it's not going to be a cool car. It never will be a cool car. Um, but I'm just saying, like, new cars, just they're starting to all kind of fade into the same look. They're all starting to just kind of phase together. Like, I can't tell the difference between like a Toyota Avalon and like a Toyota Camry. I can't distinguish the difference. Now, to be fair, I don't do a lot of research on those cars, and I know like the tail lamps are different and everything. I'm just saying, but they're all starting to go to that same design. I can easily tell the difference between like a Challenger or a Charger or a Mustang or a Camaro. Like, they have distinct looks. They have their own look going for them, while very aggressive. But all these cars are trying to copy those things, and I get it from a marketing standpoint from these big car companies. It's like, well, everybody wants to drive a cool car, but not everybody can either afford one, or it's not going to fit their lifestyle. They have to have. This is one of the arguments that a lot of guys say with the Dodge Charger. Like, they get really upset because it wasn't brought back as a coupe, it was brought back as a sedan. And I understand where Chrysler's mindset came from, in the idea that it made more sense to bring it back as a sedan, because sedans just flat out sell better than coupes, because it's easier to put a set of car seats in the back of a Charger than it is a Challenger. While not impossible, it's easier. And unfortunately, we are a country of convenience and laziness, and that sucks, because it's really funneled itself into car culture. Once again, back to the manual transmission automatic stage. A lot of guys will say, oh, it's just so much more convenient. You drive in traffic for 2 hours. Like, no offense, guys. I know what a heavy clutch is. I drive a truck. Those aren't even super heavy clutches. I've driven old rigs with heavy clutches, old cars with heavy clutches. New cars do not have heavy clutches in any form. So as far as I'm concerned, a guy that would choose an automatic over a manual and say, well, I wanted the manual, but I sit in traffic for an hour and a half every day. Okay, I guess I can kind of understand that, but no offense, I've done this in the rig 1,000 times, which is a million times heavier of a clutch than any car on the markets today is. So it sounds like to me you're being just kind of lazy. It's just an excuse. Automatics are faster. So what? Who cares? Who cares if it's faster? It's at the point now where there's always going to be a faster car. Okay? When I go to buy a car, I can guarantee you the 0.01 seconds faster that car is over this car is not going to determine whether or not I buy that car. What I will do is determine how much fun it is to drive, and that's how I basically base all my performance, or how I base all vehicles' performance on, like, whether or not I would own a vehicle. Is it fun to drive? Is it functioning in what I'm buying it for? What I buy a pickup truck for is completely different than what I might buy a Challenger for, or a Dodge Dart for. You know what I mean? They're just completely separate realms of driving that I would do with that particular car. So, just saying, you buy your car based upon what is going to function the best, and while you do want the performance there, at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm not going to get hung up on 0.01 seconds, or hey, it's a 10th second faster, 0 to 60. Like, I don't care. That doesn't bother me as much. Was the car fun to drive? Does it look good? Do I fit in it well? Is it a comfortable car? Can I see myself driving this car? That's what's important to me. Next on thing, prices, new car prices are absolutely bonkers, guys. Like, it is just mind-boggling to me how expensive new cars have gotten. And I work in an industry where I rely on new car sales, to be employed. And I mean, to each their own. If you can afford that $1,000 payment, by all means, please do so. I am not one to judge anybody on what decisions they make, but man, it is insane to me that like a 84-month loan with the upwards of a $700, $800 a month car payment is becoming normal. And that to me is just like, I don't even know where you could fit that into your average budget. Like, I'm not broke, but I'm not rich, and I can't even, like when we spent on this Durango here was pretty steep, and I mean that was a used car. We got a good deal on it, but like some of these guys are paying $90,000 for a pickup truck, and it's like, how are you? Why? It's just crazy. Now, to be fair, there is a bunch of technology that goes into these new vehicles, probably more so than there needs to be. I think we are driving cars nowadays that are just too technologically involved. It makes it very difficult to work on them. It makes it to where the manufacturers have more control over your car, and I don't like that. Obviously, there are certain systems that are necessary, and I'm all for extra safety and everything, but not at the cost of like, just like weight and everything. Like, new cars are so heavy. And once again, a lot of that comes from all the stuff they have to put in the cars now. And a lot of that's DOT mandated. Like, that's not just manufacturers, but a lot of this stuff, the government basically gets involved and says these cars have to have this. And that makes it really difficult to design a car and manufacture a car lightweight when you have all these things in here that the government says this car has to have these things. And I'm all for like extra airbags and things like that to keep you safe, but at the same time, like adaptive cruise control and stuff like that. I'm sorry, but all these new safety nanny systems that are on new cars, I think they are just one step closer to taking the driver completely out of it. And what I mean by that is like autonomous driving. Why I am 100% against autonomous driving, and that's a completely separate video for another day. It's taking the driver out of it. Now, a lot of people will say, well, because the computers could drive better than the driver can. And you know what? With some of the drivers that are on the road now, you are absolutely right. But here's the problem with that. Everybody complains about, like, distracted driving. Like, everybody's texting on their phones now. Everybody's doing something other than actually driving. And I feel like these nanny systems basically are enabling that. It's not that it's, oh, well, people are going to text. There's no way around that. They're not supposed to. But how can we fix that problem? Well, I mean, probably can't, and I understand that's why they kind of have it. But you have people in this country now, and around the world for that matter, that are just too stupid to realize, their mindset is like, oh, I don't have to worry about texting while driving now because the car is going to stop if I get too close to a car because I have adaptive cruise control or blindside detection or whatever nanny state system is on the vehicle. So I think it actually opens up more unsafe driving than it does help in the long run. And I'm sure there are statistics there to prove me wrong, but then again, statistics are skewed in the way they need to be to make something justified, typically. So, that's neither here nor there. Oh, I was going to touch on electric cars, but I think I'm going to save that video for another day because I feel like it's its own video. I cannot stand electric cars. I've driven them. I have driven a Tesla. I'm not impressed. It does not impress me. In fact, if anything, Tesla, in my eyes, is kind of a really bad car because of some of the quality control issues on them for what they cost. But I don't care about electric cars. I think they're being popularized because they're being forced upon us. It's not an organic demand for electric cars. So, but once again, that's a whole nother video. If you guys would like to see a video on my rant about why I don't like electric cars and all that, please leave me a comment down below. I would be more than happy to shoot another video for you guys regarding that matter. But I'm just saying, like, they're taking the driver out of the element of driving a vehicle, and unfortunately that sucks for guys like me because I enjoy driving and I'm good at driving, and I don't need the computer to do it for me, and unfortunately that's the culture we're moving towards. It's got to be done by that of a cell phone. But anyway, guys, like I said, I just wanted to bring you a quick video. This is a rant video. You know, not all new cars are terrible. I'm just saying, like, I noticed, like, back in the day when I was younger, you know, when the Detroit Auto Show would happen or something like that, like, I remember I get super excited. What was the next thing coming out? What was it going to look like? What was the next gen car going to look like? You know, what concepts were the manufacturers thinking? You know, things like that. And it's gotten to the point now where I just don't care. I just flat out don't care because they've not brought anything super fun to the market in so long that it's like, well, you know, so what? Like Dodge is bringing out this new compact SUV Hornet. While I think it's a good idea for their market, for what their product line is, I really don't care because I already know it's probably not going to be offered with a manual transmission, which right there out the gate kind of kills it for me. Secondly, it's a compact SUV. I'm not a big SUV guy. I think it'll look good, and I'm sure it'll be fine for what it is. It's like the CR-V. There's nothing wrong with a Honda CR-V. Honda CR-V is a very fuel-efficient, compact, seemingly affordable vehicle, at least by today's standards. You know, so there's nothing wrong with it, but it's a boring car. There's nothing really that... Nobody says that a CR-V is a fun car to drive, and knowing Dodge, they will try to bring out some like really cool, aggressive appearance packages, and they might even do a little bit more of an RT style vehicle where they change out a little bit of the suspension or something to make it a little bit more fun to drive. But in reality, who cares? It's going to be another car that I'm sure people will buy because they don't have anything at the bottom of their product line right now for entry buyers to buy. So it's probably going to be a small, compact, 30,000 aggressive looking SUV, and I'm sure it will sell fine. But like, you know, we've already been told that like the Charger and the Challenger, they're going to lose their V8s, and it's like I don't really know. I don't see where the market's going to be at. I can't imagine a Challenger without a V8 because that kind of destroys some of the essence of the car. It's got, and I might sound a little boomerish here, I guess, but it's just I don't know. V8s are fun. They're fun. They sound good. They you know, they're just fun engines. You know, 4-cylinders can be fun too. I'm not against a 4-cylinder. I love that little 2-liter that's in my Neon. I love the Dodge Neon SRT4. That was a great little car. But at the same time, it's just what car it's going into. You know, so like I said, guys, just my thoughts. I just don't think the new cars now are really all that exciting. They're kind of boring, and obviously, with the state of the current car market, it's really not helping the cause any. So, but anyway, like I said, guys, I just wanted to bring you a video. I bring them when I think of them, and I take suggestions if there was something people wanted me to discuss or talk about. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback with more of my videos where I'm just sitting here kind of talking with you guys and ranting about things. The Indian motorcycle videos that I did got a really good response, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to continue to make these here and there when I can kind of think of the topic and I've thought about it for a little bit. And like I said, leave me a comment below. If you like these videos, you know, please give me a thumbs up. It helps the channel. The channel is constantly growing, and I think that's great. Remember, the more subs I get, the more views I get, the more likes I get, everything else, that's the more income that this channel could bring in, and I could potentially maybe use that to upgrade to a new car or something like that that I can use to actually review and do stuff to and show you guys and all that stuff. So please, you know, help the channel continue to grow, share it, and I always appreciate all you guys, everybody who comments and everything. I try to get back to everybody I can. The people that do comment, and I appreciate all of you, even the negative comments. You guys crack me up some days, so I appreciate it all. But anyway, guys, this is my 100th video. I plan on making more. Like I said, thank you so much for everything you guys have done. I love it. I love you guys. You're awesome, and I'll see you next video.